Listen, I know people who go to 35 fucking rehabs. Mm-hmm. You know, I know people who have broken records for rehabs.
Sure.
You know, I don't know how I feel about rehabs yet, unless the person is ready. He's had it. Mm-hmm. That's what scares me about rehab. That rehab is like prison. It cleans you up in 90 days, makes you take a little look.
Yep. But then it throws you right back into where you were.
Right back in. Yeah. I think the percentages are better if there's a sober living environment.
Yeah, usually that's what you would want to do.
That's what you want to do.
Go from rehab to a sober living situation.
I would hate to be there again, Jayson Thibault. I am so happy to be without that chain. That was worse of confinement than prison, and that's what people understand. That it was living in a prison. My whole circumference of my life was surrounded by the who, where, how, and how I was going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, whether it came, like right now, if I was still snorting coke, I would only go to the cities that got the coke. And whoever gave it to me for free and brought a lot of it, I would be there every 4 weeks saying the same old jokes. And I'd be getting fucked up and going on stage and just talking to them and booing, getting booed, because it didn't matter. That time I OD'd in Beaumont from those Valiums. They were booing me.
What happened when you OD'd?
I didn't OD as a OD, as an OD where I ended up in the hospital. I had 30 tens in 3 days.
Jesus.
So 100 tens, 100 milligrams of Valium in a day when you're 400 pounds and you don't sweat and you don't drink water and you don't eat right and you don't exercise. Mm-hmm. It's heavy. And I kept pounding them with Jägermeister. Mm-hmm. I fell asleep on stage the one night, laid on the floor. You know, who pays to see that?
Right.
Who would pay to see that junk, you know?
Does anybody ever hit you up now and be like, I was actually at that show?
About a year ago, someone heard the story on the podcast.
Crazy.
And they said it was very disturbing. That they had gone to see somebody who had just been in an Adam Sandler movie. And they went to see somebody who was just... I'll never forget being in Vegas with Rogan and doing the 10 o'clock show and walking through the thing and seeing Artie Lange about to go on stage. And I did not know who he was. I knew he was on Stern. And I knew he was a mess. But I remember looking at him, not saying anything. Not that I was starstruck. I just didn't have the right to go up to him. I was a feature act, whatever. Sure. But I kind of felt bad. Because I knew exactly what he was going through. And the whole crew he was with. It's not like when we used to go on the road with Chris McGuire, Rogan, and those guys don't get high. Mm-hmm. So you really couldn't catch it. It really wasn't as disgusting and despicable as what I had saw that night. And I love Artie Lange. I love what he's doing on Crashing right now.
Yep, me too.
It was him, the Reverend Levy. Yep. And you could tell, I don't know if Levy did blow. I think Levy's in the program. But fucking, he was a mess. So I actually went to the door, and the guy goes, you worked with Rogan tonight. Go in if you want. And I walked in. Rogan went to shoot pool or something, and I sat up there the one night and watched Artie Lange. And I felt really bad for me.
For you?
Because that's what I was going to become. Mm. He was on stage, high as fuck, talking just nonsense. It was not worth the $55. I would have demanded my money back. But those people in the audience were just as fucked up. And it had become, I don't want to go to rehab. I said, no. What was her name?
Amy Winehouse?
Right, yeah.
It had become one of those situations. She was selling out shows just for people to go see how fucked up she could get on stage.
I mean, that's Charlie Sheen had that too. Remember when Charlie Sheen was like, I'm going to go on a world tour and let everybody look at what a dumb fuck I am?
Yeah, but he did it 2 fucking times. I'm talking about... Artie Lange was, and I've seen people do it. I mean, look what happened. Towards the end, people were paying to see Rehab Chick just to see the debacle. Mm-hmm. And it was the same thing with Artie Lange. And you know who else was doing that way before Artie Lange? If you read his book and you hear the stories, Mr. Sam Kinison. Before he went Deep Hill, if you paid for one of those tickets, you caught his openers. And even his openers were on fire. But he would come out, and it was a 50-50. He might talk, he might do great, or he might just go up there and take questions. And he did get booed. One New Year's in Vegas, he did get booed. I got that book at the house. My brother, Sam.
Yeah.
It's a good book. It's a very good fucking book. And somebody gave it to me. I had read it in Seattle. And somebody gave, and I remember being at the store and going, listen, man, not that I'm Sam Kennison, but I'm going to end up the same fucking way as those guys, you know?
There's nothing.
I had no other direction to go. Let's be honest. I was one of those guys that went to the store 30% to do a set that he didn't care about. Mm-hmm. And 80% was because the connection was there. And I could front. I could get 3 for 2. I could get 4 for 2. You know, I could do 1,000 things there. So how fucking sad is that my first 10 years here were coke-laden. And I still worked and booked movies and did movies. Can you imagine
You're
if
fortunate.
if I was sober, the things I could have done in television and film? You know, that Longest Yard, I stayed sober on that for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And not even, I'm lying. I stayed sober for 2 weeks in the beginning, and I went off the deep end. Then I found where I could get it in Santa Fe, and that was the end of that. And I'll never forget flying up here with that per diem money in my pocket, burning a hole in my pocket, because my wife wouldn't know about it.
Right.
You know, that was cash they give you. I'll never forget getting off that plane and going straight to that fucking dealer's house and telling them, cut me 3.5 of nothing but fucking rock. I'm going home to blast off. Fuck football. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was snorting till 4. I would get in my car and drive to Redondo Beach to shoot The Longest Yard.
Crazy.